I extend a warm welcome to everyone present here, especially the past presidents who have made time to be here and take up all the roles. First up, we'll start off with a business session. We'll be having a club contest for humorous speeches and table topics on 12th December. I request the members to participate in both the contests and register your names with Vice President Education Toastmaster Gaurav. And on behalf of VPPR Toastmaster Bhavani, I have an announcement. The second newsletter is coming up and we are inviting articles for the same. The theme for this newsletter will be Penny for Your Thoughts, and please do submit your articles before 20th of December. Through mail, she will post the details on our WhatsApp group. I now request Vice President Education Toastmaster Gaurav to give the updates on the role takers for the next meeting.
A very good evening, everybody. So these are the roles booked by the members for the next meeting. Master of Ceremonies by Toastmaster Family, Speaker 1 Toastmaster Sanjana, and Table Topic Master DTM Buddha. Remaining roles are open. Anybody interested, can contact me.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gaurav. With that, I would like to hand over the charge to the Sergeant at Arms.
I request all of you to turn your phones on silent mode. Done? Okay. So good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome, dear guests.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. So how many of you are here to speak? Can you raise your hands? How many of you are here to listen? Thank you. So I asked myself a question. If all of us are speakers, who are the listeners? And then I had a sudden clarity of thought, an epiphany you could say. Only a good listener can be a good speaker, and went on and to go on become a great leader. So I know one such leader who is great at listening because she has been listening to her own introduction for over 5 months now. She is a science graduate. She has done a diploma, postgraduate diploma in systems engineering. She loves traveling. She's fond of reading. She practices yoga to keep fit. She has been the past SAA, Associate VPPR, and the Secretary of our club. And today she is here to grace us as our beloved President. So please help me welcome Madam Lalana Murthy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sanjana, for that wonderful introduction as always. Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests.
Good evening.
I see some guests here. Can you introduce yourself and tell us how you came to know about our club?
Namaste to all. My name is Vidya Bhatt. I am a practicing chartered accountant. Actually, my husband was, telling 2-3 years back himself, you go and join Toastmasters so that you can improve your communication. But 2 years COVID and all was there, and my second daughter was also very small. So I thought of joining now. This is the second class I am attending as a member. Now, after attending first class, I felt members are very friendly, very cooperative. So it motivated me to attend this second class, and next week hopefully I will be sitting as a member.
Welcome, Vidya. You are a member. Yourself, sir?
Yeah, good evening, Honorable. I'm Sandeep. I'm an employee of Becon Limited. I recently got transferred from Ranchi to Bangalore. So I just saw this exciting, so I just came and see what is exactly.
Welcome, Sandeep. I now request Secretary Toastmaster Shiv Prasad to read the minutes of the previous meeting.
Thank you, Madam President. Here are the minutes of meeting number 1188 held on the 21st of November 2022. The theme was Humor, Essence of Life. Word of the week, opulent. The business session started at 6:30 p.m. and was chaired by President Toastmaster Arnamo. In the business session, the following points were addressed. The President mentioned that the club had earned the Fast 5 and Membership Magnet Awards from the district. To encourage the members to give feedback to the speakers and role takers, the President mentioned that the erstwhile practice of handing out physical feedback forms to the members would be reintroduced. The voting ballot, however, would continue to be shared online through Google Forms. On behalf of the Vice President Education, the President mentioned that only the TAPG roles were open for the upcoming meeting. Interested members were requested to contact Toastmaster Gaurav for the same. The regular meeting started at 6:34 p.m. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Sanjana H.A. started the meeting with an introduction about the theme and later handed over the charge to President Toastmaster Lalnamo. The President opened the meeting, spoke on the theme and introduced the Master of Ceremonies Toastmaster Jyotirao. The Master of Ceremonies spoke on the theme and introduced the following role takers for the day. Timer Toastmaster Pavani C.R., R-Counter Toastmaster Mamata and Toastmaster Sanjana H.A., Grammarian Toastmaster Raja and PP Evaluator Toastmaster Prashant. An education session titled How to be a Humorous Speaker was conducted by DTM MU Bhatt. The table topic session was conducted by Toastmaster Sharanya Prasad and had 12 speakers in total. The general evaluation was conducted by DTM A.K. Prabhakara. The winners of the week were Best Table Topic Speaker Toastmaster Shiva Prasad, Best Role Taker TAPG Toastmaster Pavani CR and Best Role Taker MTG Toastmaster Sharanya Prasad and DTM A.K. Prabhakara. The President closed the meeting at 8:43 p.m. which was followed by the National Anthem. Thank you and over to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiv Prasad. Are there any amendments to the minutes? If not, I'll consider it as accepted and open meeting number 1189. Coming to today's theme, Epiphany means a moment when you suddenly feel that you understand or become conscious of something that's very important to you. Some of the famous epiphanies include Archimedes' discovery of a method to determine the volume of an irregular object, that eureka moment, and Newton's realization that a falling apple and the orbiting moon are both pulled by the same force. However, epiphanies can come in different forms and are often generated by a combination of experience, knowledge, and context. A contemporary example of an epiphany in education would include a process by which a student arrives at an important insight or a clarifying thought. Some of the epiphanies in my life are around my children. I remember this period when I was living in Delhi and my son had just turned 1 year old. However, he had not started walking properly and he needed support. Like he would hold on to something and walk around, or we had to hold his hand and make him walk. This time my parents were visiting us and we went to see the Taj Mahal in Agra. This was in the 90s and we were allowed to walk all around Taj Mahal, and in fact we went inside and we even saw the tomb below. I don't know how it is nowadays because of the security and all that. And my son wanted to get down. I was carrying him and he wanted to get down. I was hesitant as it is he was not walking properly, like he needed somebody to hold on to him, and there was marble flooring all around. So I was hesitant to leave him down. But he was pestering me so much that I finally let him go, and To my surprise, he saw that marble flooring and all the structures around, and he started walking and running around with exuberance. I couldn't believe my eyes, as it was the first time that he was walking and running around independently without any support and on his own. This is one of the endearing memories I still cherish today. Dear Toastmasters, it is great to have an epiphany, but what you do with the clarity that you get is what that matters. And the best-selling author Shannon Kaiser says that we all should have that one epiphany where you realize that the journey is more important than the goal. The actual process of growing, learning, and evolving is what it matters and makes it all worthwhile. So let's all enjoy the journey as much as the reward. To tell us more about the theme and to take this meeting forward, we have a Toastmaster who is a qualified chartered accountant and a member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. She is a multi-talented person and has varied interests such as playing the guitar, painting, reading, learning new languages, and after all this, she has the energy to even practice yoga. She is a past president of a club and was the club coach for BMS MBA Phoenix. Please put your hands together and help me welcome the Master of Ceremonies for the day, Toastmaster Ankita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lalana, for that beautiful introduction and also for making my job a tad bit easier by telling all of us what an epiphany means. I'm sure all of us are very clear as to what that word means now, so spares me some time and that I can use to tell you guys more about the theme. I scored a little over 90% in my 10th board exams. And the one thing that every teacher had to tell my parents was this. Ankita is a very studious child and she has also been very, very interested in public speaking as well as art and craft very early in life. And that is what makes her not just an academic person, but a person with holistic learning. And this has helped me realize that it is the trivial things in life that matter the most. Art is what nourishes your soul. And that is something I realized very early in life because I was involved in these activities ever since I was in school. A very good evening to fellow past presidents, fellow Toastmasters, and guests present in today's room. I am beyond thrilled to be hosting and to be the MC for today's meeting, and I hope that we have a very wonderful and fruitful session, which I'm sure we will have. It seems fair to start with an epiphany that I, as a past president of MECON, had during my tenure as the president. I had this one while practicing the Japanese art of folding paper called origami. Origami is something that you can use to fold a single plain square sheet of paper into whatever you could imagine. A bird, a squirrel, a peacock, or even a tessellation. Without using any glue or scissors, just with your 10 fingers. While folding a very complicated model and creating layers of creases, I created this. This is a 15 centimeter square piece of paper creased to a 32 division grid, and that has helped me create this pattern, which is called a tessellation. I was so proud and I was admiring this piece of beauty that I had created while I had an epiphany. Origami for me is truly the epitome of transformation. It is like metamorphosis that a caterpillar undergoes to become a butterfly. A single square sheet of paper can become anything under the sun, anything that you can imagine or would be able to imagine. It's only limited to your sense of imagination. And that's when I had an epiphany. Life creases us all, right? And those creases makes us who we are today. And it is in between those creases that we learn to develop, to grow, and to become better. And Mekong Communication Club has been a strong crease in my life because it has taught me the art of speaking and the art of being a good leader. I'm sure this transformative process is what every president sitting here today has been through at Mekong Communication Club. And this transformation has been possible because of the epiphany that Ralph C. Smedley might have had back in 1924 when he started the first group of Toastmasters who came together to enhance their power of speaking and leadership. What came by as one small club has now spread its wings across 144 countries with over 14,700 clubs having more than 280,000 members. For the benefit of all guests present in our audience today, I would just like to explain how a typical Toastmasters meeting would function. We will have 3 sessions, starting off with the prepared speech session. As the name suggests, all the speakers who will be coming up on the stage will have prepared their speech well in advance as per the guidelines of the Toastmasters manual. Next up, we will have the table topic session wherein members will be picked at random and they would have to speak for a couple of minutes impromptu on a topic given by the table topic master. And lastly, we will have the evaluation session wherein the general evaluator along with the TAPG role takers will tell us about the proceedings of the meeting, what could have been better, what went well, etc. Before I begin with today's meeting, let us call upon the set of role takers who will be helping our general evaluator as he would give out the revelations he had throughout this meeting. As I call upon their names, please do come up here, introduce your role and tell us about what you will be doing in your role today. Firstly, let me have the timer, Toastmaster Shiva, introduce his role to us.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ankita. While all the speakers and listeners today might have epiphanies, please don't forget when you come to the lectern to look at the timer. My job today is to ensure that all the speeches and the entire meeting goes about in time. First, we'll have the prepared speech session wherein I'll be showing you the green card at 5 minutes, the yellow card at 6 minutes, and the red at 7 minutes. Then we have the second session, which is the table topic session, and for that, green at 1 minute, yellow at 1.5, and red at 2 minutes. Finally, the individual speakers will be evaluated during the general evaluation, and for them, green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5, and red at 3 minutes. I'll be giving my report during the general evaluation. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva. Can we now have Pavni CR, who will be the accounter for the day?
A very happy evening to all the fellow Toastmasters. The purpose of an counter is to note any overused words or filler sounds used as crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting. Words may be inappropriate interjections such as and, well, but, so, and you know. I'll be giving my report at the general evaluation session. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pavni. Next, we have Sharanya, who will be the grammarian for the day.
A very good evening to all the fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers and listen to them carefully. I will also make note of all the good usages, which include outstanding words, quotes, and I will also make note of not so good usages for betterment of communication. It is also my duty to introduce the word of the day, that is exuberance. I repeat, the word of the day is exuberance, which means the quality of being full of energy and excitement. An example to this word is he maintained a youthful exuberance for field work. I request everyone not to be reluctant and use the word of the day. I will be giving my report when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you and back to you.
Thank you, you, Sharanya. Lastly, we have the Parliamentary Procedure Evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Sanjana. Please.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests again. So, as the PP evaluator, I will be evaluating the following points. I request all the speakers to refrain from talking about sex, religion, and politics, and enter or exit the room only during the applause. And also, I request again all of you to keep your phones on silent. I'll give my report at the G session. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjana. Let's now plunge into the first session of the meeting, the prepared speech session. I would like to mention that to add to the exuberance of today's meeting, all of the speakers as well as the individual evaluators in this session are past presidents of Mekon Communication Club. We have individual evaluators who have been the second president of Mekon Communication Club, DTM MU Bhatt sir. We have the third president of Mekon Communication Club, distinguished Toastmaster AK Prabhakara, and we also have distinguished Toastmaster Amitabha and Toastmaster Sandeep right here. And the speakers will be introduced as they come along. I'm sure we're all very excited to witness such fine talent nourished and nurtured by Mekon Communication Club over the years with their efforts and hard work. Before I call upon the first speaker for the day, let me request his individual evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster Amitabha, to please come up and read out the guidelines for the speech.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. The purpose of this speech is for the member to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. The member will present a well-organized, well-delivered speech. The speech may be humorous, informational, or any style the member chooses to be. The speech content and style should work together. The project is not a report on the content of researching and presenting project. So I wish the speaker all the very best. Back to you.
Our first speaker for the day is the co-founder of High Performance Alchemy, a company that aims at transforming lives. She served as the president of Mekon for the term July to December 2016. She says that she has learned through her journey that a president is never lonely when you are service-minded. With a huge round of applause, please help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Sushma with her speech titled To Be or Not to Be. To be or not to be.
Sorry, the speech title is To Hobby or Not to Be. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Recently, I conducted a kind of micro-survey among my friends and family. The question I asked them was, do you still spend time for your hobby? And the answers I got were mostly unsatisfactory. Hobby? Oh yes, I used to pursue them when I was a child. But now, hey, come on, where is the time? It's too hectic. I hardly have time to spend with my own family. Forget about a hobby. Well, it's quite understandable, right? Now, I want to conduct the same survey with you all. How many of you here still spend some time for your hobby? Can you please raise your hand? Okay, this is quite a good number, but there are still people out there, right? What if I say that pursuing a hobby has been proven by research that it will improve your mental well-being by a significant amount? How many of you will think of pursuing a hobby now? Raise your hand. The number has gone up, right? Well, this is what is important. So, how are hobbies connected to mental well-being? Dr. Kayara, Associate Professor of Neurosciences of University of Reading, said that there is a reason why hobbies are connected to mental well-being. When a person pursues a hobby, in our brain, neurotransmitters are released, something like dopamine and other neurotransmitters. These are feel-good chemicals for our brain, and they have the capacity to keep us happy. And pursuing a hobby makes one want to do more of it, and it keeps motivating them. That's the reason hobbies work. Research has also proven that hobbies have the capacity to reduce stress and balance mood swings, and not only that, it helps to battle depression from very low to moderate levels. In fact, social prescribing has become a practice by doctors. They suggest to patients that they include a non-medical intervention like pursuing a hobby for those suffering from depression, which have mild to moderate symptoms, and it will help them battle depression too. While these are the medical benefits of a hobby, it is time to think about what my friends and family and what people generally say. It is indeed tough to find time for hobbies in this fast-paced life. So I decided to do some research and find out about people who were able to balance both their lives and their hobbies. And I came across an extraordinary example, an article in Deccan Chronicle. They spoke about a person who was a surgeon by day, an orthopedic surgeon by day, and a musician by night. The interesting fact was that he has 300 musical instruments in his house. He has his own band, and he was able to juggle both orthopedics and music. Bones and tones, amazing band. Can you guess who that person is? Any guesses? It's none other than Dr. Thomas Chandy, chairman of HOSMAT. So I found that very inspiring. What I would suggest is, that may be an extraordinary example. So we need not go by the level of extraordinary talent or whatsoever. Pursuing a hobby will help us, and we can indeed find some time for it. While these are the two aspects of hobbies, I came to find out that there is another aspect to a hobby also. In 1956, this is an interesting story actually. In 1956, an American typist come commercial artist by name Betty Nesmith Graham came across a wonderful, interesting point. It was actually her own invention. What happened was, she was actually quite poor in her work as a typist and used to commit a lot of typing errors or typos, right? During those days, whiteners weren't available. So they either had to erase the errors, which led to smudging of the paper or tearing of the paper, or they had to redo the entire work. That was frustrating. And she also happened to be a painter, an artist. And one evening, while she was painting, a thought flashed, an idea in fact flashed to her mind. Artists never correct their errors, they paint over it. So that was an epiphany moment for her. She had created a kind of liquid for her artist session, wherein it was kind of a white tempera paint. It was not available commercially. So she poured it into a small bottle, took it to her work, and started using it. It worked like a charm. Soon her colleagues started using it, and it was a huge success. So now since she was convinced about its effectiveness, she decided to make its popularity spread across the outside the four walls of her office. She quit her job and started her own company, Liquid Paper, which initially manufactured whiteners, correction fluid. Now, after all this, before I end my talk, I would like to leave with 3 important points. Hobbies have medical benefits. They improve your mental well-being. Find time for hobbies. When you have the will, you will indeed find a way. And thirdly, you never know where your hobbies might take you, like it did for Betty. So, to hobby or not to be, you decide. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Sushma. I'm sure majority of the people in this room are going to go back and rekindle their hobbies today, right? Another round of applause for a wonderful. Time to call upon the second speaker for the evening. Before I call him up on behind the lectern, let me request his individual evaluator to read out his project guidelines. Distinguished Toastmaster M.U. Bhatt sir, could you please?
This is level 1 project 2. It's about evaluation and feedback. The first part of it is in 2 parts. Today the speaker is going to deliver the first part of it. The purpose statement says the purpose of this project is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback and apply the feedback to second speech. The purpose of this speech is for the member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. There are some notes from the evaluator which says that member will deliver a well-organized speech on any topic, focus on the member's speaking style, be sure to recommend improvement. That is my job. The speech may be humorous, informational or any style of member chooses. The member will ask you to evaluate his or second speech at a future meeting. The time is 5 to 7 minutes and back to Master Selvan.
Our second speaker has had a glorious past in the realm of Toastmasters. By profession, he is the Executive Director of Ganesh Foods Private Limited. And in the realm of Toastmasters, his accolades are colossal. He served as a District Governor of District 82 in 2010. He also served as a Region Advisor in 2013-14. He is also the first Indian to receive the Presidential Citation at the Hall of Fame of Toastmasters International in Orlando in the year 2012. In Mekong Communication Club, he served as a president from July to December 2005, and he is the first non-employee of Mekong Communication Club to have become the president. He says that those 6 months of being president laid a strong foundation for his leadership journey, which culminated in him becoming the second Indian to be elected as the international director in 2015. His epiphany during the term was, it is extremely difficult to make people laugh, especially, he says, the VP membership at that time. I think very relatable. I can't do it either. Please, with a huge round of applause, help me welcome distinguished Toastmaster Nagaraj Rao sir with a speech titled To Drink or Not to Drink.
My alarm goes off at 5 a.m. I wake up and go to wash my face. As the ice cold water hits my palms, I start shivering. My teeth begin to chatter. I push the curtains apart, open the windows wide, and a strong gust of icy wind blows on my face. What a cold morning it is. Braving the biting cold, I go down to my kitchen. I switch on the percolator. Coffee drips in. Drop by drop by drop. The delightful aroma fills up the entire room. I hold the hot cup of coffee and feel the warmth flowing into my arms. I gently touch the cup to my lips and sip. Ah, this is unreal. You should try this. Friends, coffee is a very special drink. It's a mode of relaxation. It's a way of celebration. It's the essence of etiquette. It's the height of hospitality, a hallmark of generosity. Now, coffee is an incredible thing because worldwide, millions of people start their day with a cup of hot coffee. In fact, if you place the used cups side by side, it is enough to circle the entire globe twice. That is 5 billion cups of coffee consumed every single day. Now, when you are drinking this beautiful cup of coffee, you might be thinking, is this good or bad? Is it good for my health or bad for my health? So let's explore this. Now, they say the best thing about coffee is the alertness which you get, because this is the kick which you get out of coffee. Now, this may come as a surprise to you. There are about 1,000 compounds in a single roasted coffee bean. And some of it are caffeine, which is about 1%, minerals about 14%, and proteins about 4%, and sugars about 55%. But the most important component for our discussion today, that is the health point of view, is the caffeine. Now, caffeine is the thing which gives you that instant alertness and increased attention, and it achieves this by maintaining a steady level of dopamine in your brain. Now, dopamine is a neurotransmitter which helps brain cells to communicate. That's why people in dull, boring jobs take this frequent coffee breaks, so it instantly perks them. Now, what does a scientific study tell about coffee? Now, a study in Italy says that people who drink at least 4 cups of coffee every day have reduced risk of colon cancer. Dr. Karhan conducted a study about coffee. His sample size was about 45,000 men and 81,000 women with no previous history of kidney stones, and he found that regular coffee drinkers had less risk of developing kidney stones in the future. And the Journal of Neuroscience says caffeine decreases the probability of getting Parkinson's disease at a later stage in life. It also says people who drink coffee are less prone to depression or something, I forgot about this. Okay. Now, the flip side of it is, it also has some small negative effects. Now, the negative effects could be insomnia, or heartburn, or ulcers, or gastritis. Now, the question is, when does this happen? When does such a good thing turn into a bad thing? When does this nectar turn into poison? So this happens when you consume more than 500 milligrams of caffeine every day. Your typical 120 ml cup of coffee has about 60 to 70 milligrams of caffeine. So 7 cups a day is the limit. Now, is it really the limit? Can you drink 7 cups a day? Not really. The best way to find out what is the safe limit for humans is to find out or determine the safety limit for a pregnant woman, because that's when human beings are at their most vulnerable condition. So Dr. Christine Wisborg conducted this survey. She was a professor in Aarhus University Hospital in Denmark, and she conducted this survey about effect of caffeine on pregnant women. And she came to a conclusion that 300 milligrams of caffeine, up to 4 cups a day, is safe both for the mother and the child. So friends, the summary is, coffee is a great drink. As long as you stay within your limit, relax, feel the goodness, enjoy your coffee, feel the body and mind becoming energized. So relish your cup of cheer without fear. Back to you.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Nagaraj Rao, for breaking the fad around coffee and telling all of us that it's absolutely safe until you stay in your limit. Thank you so much for that wonderful speech. Another round of applause for brilliantly crafted. It's now time to have the third speaker for the evening. Before I call him upon the lectern, let me request his individual evaluator, distinguished Toastmaster A.K. Prabhakara, to read out the project guidelines.
There is no need to read out because the evaluation criteria remains the same. Over to Toastmaster.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster A.K. Prabhakara. The third speaker for the day has yet another glorious past in Mekong Communication Club and in Toastmasters. He has been awarded the District Championship of the International Speech Contest in 2015. He also went on to become the Division Champion in the Table Topic Contest held in 2012. Moreover, he went on to become the District 92 Champion for the International Speech Contest held in 2015 in Kochi. By profession, he is an instrumentation engineer. He is also a professional soft skills trainer. In Mekong Communication Club, he has served as the president for the term July to December 2011. He says being president is definitely not easy. He's realized that leadership is not easy at all. But when you start believing that leadership is an act of service, that is when it leads to growth and profound development. With a big round of applause, please help me welcome Toastmaster Ajit Ranjan with a speech titled Be Like Water. Be Like Water.
He looked right into my eyes and said, "Be like water, my friend. Because when you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you pour water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. And when you pour water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Be like water." And if you are wondering who he is and why he said what he said, I perfectly understand. Madam Toastmaster and my lovely audience, it was a chilly December night about 10 years ago. I stood outside my house under the orange streetlight, contemplating all of my life decisions. I was thinking about all the obstacles between where I was and where I wanted to be. And I stood there awaiting the arrival of my guest, a French traveler called Anthony. Now, Anthony had reached out to me through a travel networking site and requested me to host it. And I'd accepted. Now, let me tell you something about Anthony that's really piqued my interest. Anthony had been traveling the world non-stop for the past 3 years. India was the 52nd country he was visiting. And he was just 19 years old. I was expecting a big burly guy with some big bulky luggage to arrive. Close to midnight, a thin, short, pink, cute boy in a cap, a green t-shirt and shorts, and a small backpack and a sleeping mat walked up to me and introduced himself as Anthony, and we started talking. I casually asked him, "Anthony, why did you message me so late? What if I did not accept your request?" He said, "I'm not supposed to come here, I'm supposed to go to another host place. He rejects last minute. I message you and I'm here. You're a good man." Well, but I immediately shot back. "But what if I did not? Where would you go? Where would you sleep? Bangalore is such a big city." He said, "You are right, my friend. Bangalore is such a big city. So many places to sleep." I go to the railway station, I roll my mat and I sleep. In India, you can even make friends. And then I asked him, "Anthony, the question that you're all probably thinking of, You travel so much. How are you funding these trips? You need so much money. And Anthony said, I don't need more money, my friend. I travel by road. I take a drop by people who give. I work in a French bakery. And for a stay, I find a host like you who will buy dinner for me tonight. This guy was already making me reconsider a few of my life decisions. And then I asked him that big important question that each Indian asks him or herself multiple times through their life. Anthony, what about your future? If you keep roaming around like this, what about your future? He said, my friend, I like two things in life. One is traveling and one is baking. I can maybe bake later, maybe not, but I cannot travel. So I travel. And whenever I get a chance, I bake. I don't know in the future, maybe I travel, maybe I bake, maybe I open an international cafe, I travel and bake. This guy was going after what he wanted in spite of so many maybes. And here I was. I had a degree, I was thinking of getting a backup degree. I had a job, I was thinking of getting a backup job. I had a girlfriend, never mind. But I had to know his secret. I had to know it. I said, Anthony, what gives you this freedom to just go and do what you want? He said he was a big fan of Bruce Lee, his childhood hero. And a single quote of Bruce Lee had profoundly impacted his life. And he looked right into my eyes and he said, be like water, my friend. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you pour water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. And when you pour water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. That night passed, but the essence of that night stayed with me. I was standing there contemplating and thinking of all the obstacles that were in my way. Whereas through Anthony, I learned of the timeless wisdom of water, to embrace its obstacles, to go from where it is to where it wants to be. Toastmasters, what area of your life are you focusing on your obstacles? Is there a way you can embrace these obstacles, to go over, around, or through them, to go from where you are to where you want to be? Because trust me, the story of your life is way more beautiful when it's in spite of versus there were not many. On this journey of reconsidering your decisions, of thinking of obstacles, let me share with you what Anthony shared with me. Be like water, my friend. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. When you pour water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. And when you pour water into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Be like water, my friend. Toastmaster.
That was a brilliant speech of Master Ajay, brilliantly crafted, I must say. And I think we're all going to consider being like water. With that, let me call upon the fourth speaker for the evening. And before I do so, let me request his individual evaluator to come up here and read out the project guidelines. So, Sandeep.
Good evening, everyone. Today's prepared speech session is no less than our club level international speech contest. And our next speaker is no less than champion also. So this is a speech from Know Your Sense of Humor manual, and this is project 3. The purpose statement of this project is to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that includes humor. So the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. Good luck to the speaker. Back to the MC.
rather the apt speech that the speaker has chosen. He is also called, he is also very popular for his sense of humor in our club. He has completed his master's in electrical engineering from Virginia Tech. Currently he is working as Qualcomm. He is a passionate singer too. He is also known for his humorous speeches in Mekong, like I previously mentioned. He served as the president for the term Jan to June 2020. He says it is around that time when he got engaged, and was distinguished Toastmaster A.K. Prabhakara who kind of insisted and pushed him to become the president of the club. And by taking up the responsibility, he has learned that showing up in life to any occasion or to any event is what is the most important. And he has carried forward this learning even to his career and even to his profession, and has grown so much as a person after his journey as a president in Mekong. With a round of applause, please help me welcome Toastmaster Balaji CS for his speech. His speech titled The Firstborn. The Firstborn, Balaji CS.
Do you remember the time when our parents used to be so strict so that we studied hard? Such good times, right? The mental trauma, the agony, the beating, said no kid ever. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guys. It's not that I have a problem with my mom being strict with me. It's just that my brother never used to get affected by all the aggressive tactics my parents used. Whenever my mom scolded me, I used to study harder. But whenever my mom scolded my brother, he used to sulk harder. Most of the times, my mom used to beat me frequently because supposedly my handwriting was very bad. My brother did not even bother to write anything in his notebook. I guess after seeing me, you would have thought, if I don't write anything, there is no question of a bad handwriting. Of all the scoldings from my mother, the one thing which really stuck with me was when she used to say in this emphatic tone, Balaji, keep studying like this. One day, you will become a caretaker of buffaloes. Dear Toastmasters, this looks extremely polished in English. Trust me, it hits you hard when you listen to it in my mother tongue. When she uses the similar line with my brother used to coolly reply, how can I take care of so many buffaloes? You also come with me. My mom was exasperated and desperate. The more in control she was with me, the more desperate she was with my younger brother. It took a while for my mom to figure out that the parenting style which she used with me is surely not going to work with my younger brother. It was the summer of 2000. It was just a few days till before my final exam. More than me, my mom was stressed. She was ensuring that I was fully prepared for the exam. For some reason, she thought this was going to be the most important exam in my life, which is going to change my future. It was my 5th standard exam. But anyways, she was extremely worked up. 2 days before the exam, I heard a few of my friends playing outside. Now, to my bad luck, these friends of mine were from a different school and their annual exams had already completed and they were having the time of their life. I tried to concentrate on the job at hand, but I could not. Before I could realize, I rushed out to the ground and I was playing cricket with them. Suddenly I panicked. I was thinking to myself, what are you doing? What will happen if your mom finds out? Then I told myself, let me play just for 1 hour and I'll immediately go back home. No one needs to know that I was outside. At the end of the hour, I told my friends, guys, enough is enough, I need to go. But they said, just one more match, man, just 5 overs, let's play. I again played another match. Then again after that I said, I need to leave now. Then again they said the same thing, just one more match, 5 overs. This kept on going for 2, 3, 5 overs, which meant basically a T20 match. At the end of the day, it was pitch black and pitch dark, and I could not even see the ball. Now I need to be extremely careful. I needed to be in stealth mode. No one should come to realize that I was actually playing cricket just 2 days before my exam. I slowly approached my house. When I approached the entrance of my house, I saw my mom's slippers. My stomach's turned. To my bad luck, or rather my mom had planned it, I don't know. She had come early from office rather to just oversee how my studies was. I was pretty sure that slipper was going to find the way to me through my house. I entered the house, shivering. I saw my mom. She looked at me with this angry gaze. I was extremely scared of my mother and her look. I thought For some reason, if I just look down and not see her, she will not realize that I was there. I don't know what I was thinking, but she was extremely quiet. I thought probably my technique of not making eye contact with her was working. I thought let us just go around her and like immediately enter the study room and close the door and resume with studies. Before I could enter, she immediately got up and closed my study room and locked the door. You know what's worse than your parents asking you to study? It is them asking you not to study. She told, you have so much courage that 2 days before exam, you went and played cricket. I think you have studied enough. It's okay. Don't study anymore. Come, sit here. Let's watch TV. Dear Toastmasters, I know I am dumb. But I'm not naive enough to go anywhere near the vicinity of my mother to watch TV. I stood with safe distance. I was thinking about the repercussions. Even though I had gone and played cricket, it was not like I was some kind of a grade 1 student who has completed studies and went. I still had a lot of portions to cover, and I thought the worst thing which was going to happen was I was going to fail my 5th standard. The worst thing with that is not just failing. In my school, there was this dumb rule that till 5th standard, somehow or the other, you're supposed to be a kid. From 6th standard, you're allowed to wear long pants. So that was a huge thing with the guys because you're allowed to wear pants for the first time. And I kept imagining all my friends wearing pants and me wearing shorts. All these things made me panic even more. I went and begged to my mother. I told her, please, I will not do this again. Just allow me to study. Finally, she buckled and she allowed me to go and study. And the next 2 days, I studied with so much focus that even my mother was impressed. After that, for some reason, my mother thought this reverse psychology tactic is something which she would use on my brother. Again, it didn't take much long for him to screw up. And then she told him in the same emphatic tone, you don't need to study, come watch TV. He coolly went, sat down and started watching. My mom waited for 10 minutes. She thought she was punishing him, but my brother absolutely had no clue that she was punishing him. After the 10 minutes, she went, switched off the TV and yelled at him, go inside and study. My brother actually got angry. He had the audacity to get angry because she switched off the TV. But any which ways, my mom just asked him to go study and he went inside. All I expected was one tiny slap from my mom to my brother, but even that didn't happen. I was extremely dejected. I went to my grandmother and told, why is it that there is so much difference between how the mother treats a firstborn and the secondborn? Isn't it the same thing? Actually, even if I do a small thing, I get so much of, all these hangama and anger, but he is able to get away with literally anything. Then my grandmom, with all her years of wisdom, told me something amazing. She told, have you ever seen me make dosa? I said, of course. Whenever you keep the pan only, I get the smell, I come so that I can have the dosa. She said, whenever I make the dosa, the first dosa has to be extremely careful. There are a lot of parameters to it, like the flame, the seasoning of the pan, even the batter consistency and everything of that sort. So if you screw up the first dosa, all the dosas after that will never be crispy. So even though the first dosa takes more time, it's extremely important. Like that, you are your mom's first dosa. She will give you all the attention and she will be extremely strict with you. But by the time your brother comes, she's already understood what to expect from parenting and it will not be that hard. So dear Toastmasters, I would like to say, you need not be so dejected that you're a firstborn. Actually, you're not a firstborn. You're paving way for the success of the second kid. Whenever you're feeling that your sister or a younger sibling has done better than you or more successful than you, just remember you are the first dosa which seasoned the pan. You are the first kid who took the brunt of all the things your parents had to give before your second sibling had a clear path ahead. With that, I would like to say, more than the dosa analogy, I actually loved the dosa which my party made after that lovely advice. With that, I would like to end my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Balaji, for that speech. It was very relatable. And I honestly wish I didn't have to be the first dosa. It's not comforting at all. And I don't want to pave the path to someone's success or all of that. No. And completely relatable, your speech was. Really well written, Balaji. Round of applause for that. How many of you in this room have heard of Candy Crush? So, my mom was kind of stuck on some level 554 for 4 days. And then she gives the phone to me and tells me, can you please help me just get over with this level? I'm just annoyed now, trying to clear it. So I used one of her most treasured boosters that you get on the app, and with the help of that, I was able to, clear that level for her, and she was kind of very exuberated by the entire thing. Now this gave me an epiphany. It taught me that sometimes in life, you have to kind of use those boosters that will push you to, go up that ladder and go up that step. And just like that, in every president's sitting in this room, their booster was the club mentors that we have, and of course, the executive committee. And just like that, in life in general, we are thrown with impromptu situations that we have to respond to on the tip of our fingers. And that's exactly what the next session is going to look like. We will have a table topic master who will give topics at random and call up speakers here to speak for a couple of minutes. The table topic master for the day is a very interesting personality. He is the past president of Mekon, of course, for the term Jan to December 2021. He loves cycling and was a part of the Go Cycling, Go Green initiative, which was basically to promote cycling across Bangalore. Apart from that, he is one of the most reliable persons in Mekon Communication Club, and personally to me, he is my go-to person for anything that I would like to ask or I would require help for. With a huge round of applause, please let me welcome the table topic master, Toastmaster Sai Snehal Reddy.
Good evening, fellow past president, Toastmasters, and my dear guest. Wow, the booster that she was talking about is definitely the table topic session, because the way you improve your confidence here will help you with your prepared speech session. This table topic session particularly has helped me improve my speaking abilities, not just in Toastmasters but beyond Toastmasters as well. And today I'm here to help you for the same. And I would request everyone, all the speakers who are going to come behind the lectern, to kindly stick to the time. Let's get started. The first topic for today: when things are not adding up, start subtracting. When things are not adding up, start subtracting. And the topic goes to Toastmaster Lakshmi.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome dear guests. Thank you, Table Topic Master, for that topic. When things are not adding up, start subtracting. I would agree. Let's say when you have a busy day, right? I'm a parent and I had 2 young kids and I had a career in front of me, and I can only imagine what was going through my mind at that time when I think of that situation. So I would get up in the morning, I would try to make a bunch of things, get 2 kids ready, rush them off to different school, daycare, then run off to work, be on a bunch of calls, try to handle production issues and bug fixes and user testing and whatnot, and then try to pick them up and come back and get them through their schoolwork and try to get dinner ready on the table, and then have everybody in bed by 8 o'clock and get on some more calls and try to get my work done. And when this was going on, I found myself kind of stressing out, and I thought to myself, what can I do? And then I told myself that I had to take or something off my table. And then I talked to my supervisor, and she suggested going back to a part-time working schedule. And I did that, and I saw that helped me get through my work and led to a happier me. So I would agree that when things don't, a lot of things add up on your table, start subtracting. So thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lakshmi, for that response. The next topic: tiny changes leads to remarkable results. I repeat, tiny changes leads to remarkable results. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Veerabhadrapal.
Good evening, all the Toastmasters here. What he has given is, if everybody makes a small change, it ends up in a big change. Really, it is a good thing. So you all come here to learn speak in English. You have come here as you go and practice, it ends up in a big way. I have seen some of the participants here who cannot open up here. They come slowly and they become the big masters in communication. What it means, a small thing started in a small way ends up in a big way. To cite another example in my life, say we wanted to start an industry, no money, nothing else. So without no money, without anything, how you can start the industry? Can anybody tell me? How you can start an industry? Absolutely no money. Even for the bus charge, we don't have a money. Please tell me, my dear Toastmasters, how to start an industry. I will tell you. You must have a burning desire in your mind to do that. We had a desire, we had a courage, we had a conviction. We started in a garage in a small way, then went up to, we took a big building as a rent. Then we are running a very big industry in Electronic City. So things started in a small way will end up in this thing. Never go back, never hesitate. Have a goal in your life. If you have a goal, don't think it is a small goal. It keep on small goals added to the big goal in your life, and definitely it makes your life very comfortable, very enjoyable. You can live peacefully and with abundant money.
Thank you for the thunderous response, sir. The next topic is your experience of overcoming a fear. I repeat, your experience of overcoming a fear, and this topic goes to Toastmaster Shushruth.
My experience of overcoming a fear, I can say this is the moment because everybody knows what the feeling will be having when getting the topic. And once I was talking with my friend Kushal. He called me and he asked me what is time travel. So I told him in Toastmasters we have a thing called table topics. When we are seeing somebody talking, time goes too fast. And when we are talking, time goes too slow. And when I was here for the first time, table topic master asked me to come and speak, but I couldn't. And this is the moment I took on my fear and I'm talking. Thank you.
Thank you for that response, Toastmaster Shushruth. The next topic, your thoughts create your world. I repeat, your thoughts create your world. And this topic goes to the one who shares my half name, Toastmaster Sai Ganesh.
Your
thoughts create your world.
Good evening, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and my dear guests. Your thoughts create your world. I think that's very true in all our lives. What you think, you become. What you sow, you reap. So I think your thoughts are actually fundamental to the way you lead your life and the happenings in your life. So if you think it is possible, then it will be possible. If you think otherwise, then it might not pan out to be the way, or probably in hindsight, what it should have been. For instance, if I can take just one example, a very small example. Back when I was in school, I actually wanted, there was only one thing that was looked at with godlike status, that is to become a part of the football team. And that was not even a dream, because I couldn't dream of even becoming a footballer or representing my school. That was another, it was a whole world away from me. But through just practice and through determined efforts, I made it to the football team, and for once I saw my name on the notice board for the right reasons. Otherwise it was all for the wrong reasons. And my parents were called, and I was surprised when they were called. I thought I had gotten into trouble once again, and I thought I was going to get kicked out of school. But for once, they were called for just one reason, that was to witness an important match that was going on between my school and a school that was considered to be a rival. And they were proud on that day, and I am standing here in front of you narrating that incident to all of you as my time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that response, Toastmaster Sai Ganesh. The next topic is the most powerful thing in the world. I repeat, the most powerful thing in the world. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Vijay Upendra.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Good evening, Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Faith and belief are the most important thing in life. If you have these two, definitely you can achieve anything and everything. What I mean by that, if you have belief within one's own self, automatically faith also develops. The reason behind that is, once a small belief, which is a thought, when a thought is generated inside, the feeling automatically comes. When feeling gets the words, words again action. Repeated action becomes habit. Your habit determines about your personality. If you want to develop a good personality, it is a thought and the belief and the faith that you develop over a period of time. That determines entire personality. We all come here to develop or to change, to have a transformation. What do you mean by transformation here? My own past looks like somebody else's past. That's what the transformation is all about. Everyone speaks about transformation without even understanding what really goes inside. Once we know what goes inside, then we will be more confident, more faith develop, thereby belief which adds, and we develop the confidence. Because of that, we execute many things in life and achieve in great lengths. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you for that response, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra. The next topic, people are quick to judge but slow to correct themselves. I repeat, people are quick to judge but slow to correct themselves. And this topic goes to distinguished Toastmaster Udaka.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, leaders, and dear guests. I have seen people judging over other people's very quickly, but they do not come back for that. So once I recently graduated, and my friends and I have joined two different companies. So after a couple of months joining the company, he calls me and say, "Bro, my manager is too rough." And I had the same person coming after some time and saying me, "Bro, was I wrong?" He's still not come to a conclusion whether he judged his manager too fast, or is he underestimating himself still. He's still concluding that. So what I suggest is never come to a conclusion at the earliest. What we see at the first day or the first sight is not exactly what we are thinking about a person. Probably the other person is having their worst day and they're cranky about it, or the other person is having a good day and they're happy about it. We never know how a person's day is. So don't come to a conclusion at the very first meeting. You will have several time to spend with them and then come to a conclusion. With that, please don't judge me. Back to you.
Thank you for the non-judgmental response. The next topic is no challenge, no change. I repeat, no challenge, no change. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Jayanti.
Good evening to everyone. So my topic is no challenge, no change. So for any change to be possible, I think it is very important to challenge oneself. Thank you.
Thank you for that response. The next topic, Most of your problems will disappear with more water and less media. I repeat, most of your problems will disappear with more water and less media. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Monish.
Can we have a round of applause for our humorous table topic master? Thank you, guys. So, a very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. I think this is an apt topic for me right now because I totally understand what he's saying because I just uninstalled my Instagram a week ago and I'm having the time of my life. I'm serious. So, so social media, there are a lot of things, but right now for us youngsters is Instagram, where there are a lot of videos which you don't even know. So there's something called Reels. So it's a 10-second video and it keeps going. You can't stop. It's either cars or whatever about different places. So it doesn't stop. So for me, it used to go on for hours and you don't even know the time passing by. So that is, I mean, what I did was I forced myself and I removed it. So with that, I seem to have a lot of time on my hands right now, and no, even though my friends ask what are you doing, in the sense that usually there are a lot of social media sites, I know you're aware, but each social media sites are a different set of friends, right? So you get what I'm saying. So, but still I think it's worth it, and right now I have a lot of time on my hands and I feel, I think after like 5 years I'm able to think clearly. So it helps. Yeah, so I think it helps a lot. And I see there are a lot of, a lot of people say that, when once you're plugged to the social media and there's a prime, elite society which controls all that. I don't know what they think about it, but I really think that social media is actually, forcing us to think in a way which is making us like, robots. We're not able to think creatively, and I think I realized this after I uninstalled it. And like you said, less of that and more of water is actually helping me. And I think you should also, guys should, mostly our age people should give it a try. And back to you.
Thank you for the water clear response, Toastmaster Monish. The next topic, be a voice, not an echo. I repeat, be a voice and not an echo. And this topic goes to Toastmaster Jyoti.
Thank you, Table Topic Master. Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Be a voice and not an echo. I think echoes are created. Each one of us have an echo. Like it starts from our childhood. Either our teachers, or parents, or elder siblings, who sort of dominate us, are authoritative to tell us what to do and not to do. And as we grow up, we are more of the echoes rather than some voices which tells us to do, and it is very difficult to break ourselves from those echoes. I remember I call myself a very indisciplined person because I remember my mother used to discipline me a lot, and that is something I never liked. And I do not discipline my children, and I have no regrets for that. I believe that each one of us have our own discipline, build our own discipline, and we need to, as we become adult, we need to be aware and alert where to break the echoes that make us go forward in life without the clarity of what we want to do. So as any, either you are a leader or at your office, at your workspace, I think the tone should be such that the person, like at any point of time, we should think the person is beside us, walking with us and talking to us and leading us, like paving our way when we are at a crossroad, and not a echo where you're just trying to run and get away with the echo. And thank you, and over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you for the voiceful response, Toastmaster Jyoti. The next up, I forgot. One thing you would teach everyone, and this would go to the teacher, Toastmaster Zulekha.
A blessed evening to everyone. One thing I would like to teach everyone. As humans, it's our prime responsibility to reach out to people when they are in need. So I stand by that. So whenever I see people coming to me with whatever challenges or the help they need, I figure out a way to support them. If possible, I will do it. If not possible to me, I'll find out a way where they can get a help. So I think as a human being, even we see animals, support each other. When they are in danger, when they are in trouble, they support each other as animals. Then isn't it, it's as a human being our responsibility to support people who are in need and reach out to them, and whenever even we need help. It's not about only helping others. Whenever even we need a support, we need to reach out instead of hesitating not to ask or feel shy or guilt or maybe the ego. Sometimes we don't ask for help. That is not right. We should always reach out to people when we are in need. Thank you and back.
With that, we come to the last topic for the day. If you had the ability to erase one thing from its existence, what would it be? I repeat, if you had the ability to erase one thing from its existence, what would it be? And this topic goes to the mother of a very beautiful child, Toastmaster Mamata.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sai, for that topic. If one thing I have to erase from my life today is always going to help others living myself. I was always helping the in-laws, whoever. I will always put my priorities aside and I always went to them. But what I got back in the response was completely opposite of what I expected. And recently, which I went through, I learned many things like whatever other Toastmasters spoke. You first love yourself, then only you can love others. Thank you, and back to you, sir.
With that, we're still not done with the table topic session. The last topic for the day, I hope. If you could invent one thing for the world, if you could invent one thing for the world, and this topic goes to Toastmaster Prashant.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, table topics in particular. If you could invent one thing to the world. So, if I have to, maybe kind of things that can be more sustainable, because of all this industrial revolution that started. So we are actually kind of, exploiting the nature, endlessly. So if there is some innovation where the sustenance can happen without much effect on the, Mother Earth or the, planet, so that will be great, and I look forward. Thank you.
Thank you for that response, sir. With that, we do come to the end of table topic session today. It was really great listening to all the beautiful responses from everybody and voicing your opinions. Thank you, and back to the MC of the day.
Thank you, Sai Snehal, for that wonderfully conducted table topic session and for the beautiful plethora of topics that you had to give to our members. We will now have a 10-minute break before we resume with the evaluation session. Welcome back from the break. I hope you all are rejuvenated after the lemon tea that was served. Now coming to the last and the most important epiphany that I would like to tell you all about. This is one that I had during my term as the president, and it's called the spot bias. I would overthink that every single move or every single thing I did in my term as president, all eyes were on me and everyone was just trying to pinpoint my flaws. But when I reached out to my team and when I began to work with them, I realized that I had an entire team of supportive hands who were willing to be there with me every step of the way and help me grow and become a better speaker and leader in my journey as the president. And that is exactly what the general evaluator for the day is going to be doing. He's been watching every single role taker and the proceedings of the entire meeting right from the start today. And the feedback that you will receive from him today will only help you grow and become better at your speaking and communication skills. Our general evaluator for the day is an MTech in design engineering from BITS Pilani. He is currently working with one of the Fortune 500 companies which is into semiconductors and displays. He is a huge fan of the Manchester United Football Club and dreams to watch them live someday. In Mekon, he has served as a past president for the term Jan to June 2016. When I asked him what he learned in his term as a president, he gave me a very beautiful anecdote. He said that when he was president, he wanted to do everything to perfection, and that is why he trusted no one but himself. On one such evening when he arrived half an hour early, he was caught by distinguished Toastmaster A.K. Prabhakara writing the theme of the day on the board, the date, etc. And AKP sir supposedly asked him that this is not your job, why are you doing it? You need to start delegating, and only when you trust your team will you help them learn and will you grow as a leader. And that is one epiphany that Toastmaster Supreet, who is our general evaluator for the day, has carried even to his professional life and has grown as a professional and a leader. With a round of applause, please help me welcome RG Toastmaster Supreet.
The moment I saw this idea of a past president's meeting, I was sitting, and as I was sitting, I started daydreaming, I guess. I was eagerly waiting to take up one of these roles and take one of nice roles, because I knew there were a lot of things up for grabs and there would be great competition. And as I stood there in this dream, I got a call from Toastmaster Gaurav, and he said, Supreet, you know about this past president's meeting? We need somebody full of exuberance to be the general evaluator. So I immediately called you up. Can you please give me DTM Nagaraj Rao's or Ajay's phone number, please? And I woke up. That moment that was my moment of epiphany to say, you're surrounded by so many nice speakers, so many people to learn from, and it's such a competitive world, and each thing you do makes you better. And that moment that makes you better is a lot of constructive feedback that we get here in Toastmasters that helps you learn and improve at the same time. And that's what I'm here to do today. And before I start doing it behind the lectern, all of you have a chance to do that right where you're sitting. Lucky folks you all. I'm really happy to see, it's nostalgic to see this back, to see this little sheet come out of the box, like a Pandora's box into our lives back. There's a lot of things that you can write to each of the role takers. Trust me, what you write in the first 5-6 sheets, first 5-6 places as feedback is going to be taken very seriously, but the last ballot will not be considered today. Because your ballots are online, please don't fill the ballots here, fill only the feedback that you have for different people. It's really nice because I treasure a lot of such feedbacks through my journey here. While you're doing that, they say a job well begun is half done, and we did that precisely today. I liked the urgency with which Madam President was like, shall we start the meeting? Shall we start the meeting? And when I looked at the clock, it said 6:30 and we had began the business session. That's like clockwork. A big meeting like this, a long meeting, a big decision, and it was very well done. So kudos to that, to the entire executive committee, to having made sure that everything is in place for us to start on time. So a job very well done there. We started with the business session. It was a crisp and comprehensive session with to-the-point agenda. The VPPR's announcement about for articles that says penny for your thoughts, given your articles, and then the VPNs announcing the role takers. The thing that I like is him taking names of who has volunteered for what role, so that they aren't accountable, that they have to make sure they don't not turn up that day. So that part was really well done. A good round of applause to the entire executive committee for that piece. With that, we moved on to the Sergeant's address, Toastmaster Sanjana. A good address with something very relevant to Toastmasters, right? A listener, a speaker, and a leader. Very beautifully put, I should say. This is what I call textbook execution. You had everything in place as a Sergeant's address. So very well done. Now what you can do slightly better to take this to the next level, exuberance, volume, and experimenting, right? Imagine just cracking a small, you had humor in your speech, maybe taking it to the next level and saying, please welcome the President of Mekong. Oh my God, too many of you are going to come up today. Right? It's a room full of past presidents. And then get up and say, oh, the current President of Mekong. You missed that last bit when you called upon Lalana. You said, Madam Lalana Murthy. Right? Go on, introduce her and say, please help me welcome the President of Mekong Communication Club, Toastmaster Lalana Murthy. It's a very good feeling as the President to come up there when you listen to that. But all in all, very good intro to the session, to the President, and an apt prelude to this lovely meeting. A huge round of applause to the Sergeant at Arms, please. With that came the President behind the lectern. Toastmaster Lalana is that speaker who can make any session, any speech very pleasant to your ears. That present smile, that present volume and tone that she's got makes it very sweet to listen to. And today was no different. You stuck to a few epiphanies from Newton to Archimedes to your own self, which was very relatable. Something that can happen to great people, something that can happen to people around us. We relate to each of these very beautifully. So that job was very well done. In between calling the President's report, taking the guest introduction, you're doing the President's job very, very well. Now what you can do to take this to the next level, something that you can really experiment, is to try emphatic stories and go beyond your comfort zone, right? Skip the notes. Now you don't need notes. You're 5 months into presidency, right? Skip the notes, leap into those bigger speeches with more purpose. So as a president, as a member that I'm sitting there, a president's speech should wow me up, right? So that part, try to inflict it in your speeches, and I'm sure you have a long way. You've come a long way from there. Beautifully done. All I would say is speak to inspire. So the moment of epiphany for me from your own speech here was, each of us have our moments of epiphanies, right? It's only for us to realize and work on them. So job beautifully done. A huge round of applause for the President, Toastmaster Lalana. With that, we moved on to the first session of the meeting, the prepared speech session. 4 brilliant speeches. I'm so eagerly looking forward to the evaluations. The first speaker, DTM Sushma, being evaluated by DTM Amitabha Saharoy. Can you please have your evaluation? A round of applause, please.
So good evening once again, fellow Toastmasters, and in particular DTM Sushma. So how many of you, after hearing Sushma's speech, felt that you should have a hobby? I think she's completed her job successfully, and it perhaps summarizes my evaluation. Okay. Considering that it was a speech which was focused on research, this was an extremely well-researched speech. So Sushma did a lot of homework before the speech. As you would have realized, she has done a survey before delivering the speech. She quoted a lot of authentic sources. She quoted some nice examples of doctors closer home in Bangalore, also to housemate Dr. Matthias. Okay, so I think that was very nicely done job, especially given that this particular speech demands research. Okay, so that is number one. Number two, what I really appreciated about the speech is sometimes research speeches can get a little dry because we rattle out too many facts, we rattle out too many research related data points. But she could balance that well with nicely laced humor. For example, she spoke about the doctor in Hostmat and spoke about bones and tones. That really lightened up the atmosphere in the club. Okay, so nicely laced humor kept it very engaging despite the fact that it is a research related topic and did not allow it to go too dry. Number three was that I felt that Sushma was extremely at ease at the lectern. She was commanding the lectern. She felt very, very comfortable. She felt that she belonged to this lectern. And she could engage all the parts of the audience. I was noticing she was turning and looking at each and every member of the audience, even the person who was sitting here. I see that nobody is sitting here, but somebody was sitting here that time. Okay, and then here also. So she could really sweep her gaze without really making that movement like you have the dolls, right? Spring dolls. The head goes like this, the head comes like this. So not that kind of a movement, very natural movement all around the audience that made everybody feel that she was speaking to each one personally. I like that very much. So all in all, wonderful speech, and what could have taken it to the next level? Given that Sushma is such a experienced speaker, I thought she could use the stage area more effectively. She was rooted here and that limited. Of course, she did a good job in terms of the movement of hands and all that. But if she could free herself at the lectern, perhaps taking this away, then she could have commanded this whole space in a more authoritative way. So that is perhaps something that she can try out. Voice modulation was there, but she could have taken it to the next level by introducing some characters in the speech. Okay, that way you get to speak on behalf of this character, on behalf of that character, like we saw some of the other speakers doing, and introduce a bit of a dramatization, which gives more room to go up and down the voice tones, various tones of this speech. Okay, and did you use a personal example? You used? Okay, if you used it, well and good, especially in a topic like this, I think a personal example always helps, and good that you used it. And at the end, I like the fact that you wanted everybody to consider having a hobby, but you could have done that with a bit of a flourish. Okay, so ending a speech is an opportunity to end a speech with a flourish, and you could have inspired the audience. Of course, this is not an inspirational speech, it's a research speech, but considering that you're a very experienced speaker, elevate the audience, lift them to take them to another level, ending the speech with a flourish and telling them to have a consider a hobby. So I think those are the things, but all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to Sushma, and I'm certainly very positive and confident that all of you consider having a hobby. I think at the beginning of the speech, perhaps 70% of the audience were considering a hobby, but now 100% of the audience, I'm sure, will consider having a hobby. So with that, I hand it back to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, DTM Amitabh Saharoy, for that concise and comprehensive evaluation of the entire speech. What I really liked is you followed the simple 3x3 approach. You gave her 3 good points, and then how she can take her speech to the next level, and all in all summarize the speech. So job beautifully done. A good round of applause for the speaker and the evaluator. The second speech, To Drink or Not to Drink, by DTM Nagaraja Rao. Can I please request his evaluator, DTM MU Bhatt, to present his evaluation. Can I have a round of applause, please?
When I read the title of the speech, To Drink or Not to Drink, I thought he is talking something about my drink, but it was not to be. It was his second favorite drink of mine, coffee. So, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guest and distinguished Toastmaster Nagaraj Rao in particular. I thoroughly enjoyed your speech, Nagaraj, and let me just tell you what exactly you did really well today. The first thing, of course, was what we used to do routinely in the past. As soon as the speaker comes, we'll remove the table to that side so that you are free in front of the audience. You told that it hides the speaker, the lectern hides the speaker. That's why I reacted to it. Actually, it's not meant for hiding the speaker. It's for hiding the speech for some of the members, at least. So that's beside, that's just in a lighter way. But what you really did well was your comfort level in front of the audience. Your smile, of course, which is a trademark smile, which I put everybody into a comfort zone. That is your strength. Second thing is your comfort level, of course, as you felt, and your gestures were very natural. What I really liked was your introduction to the subject in a vivid fashion, from taking to the winter, cold winter morning, and you ultimately narrowed down to that drop by drop of falling of that coffee. That was something amazing. I really liked it. And you went on talking about, you talked about the coffee, the advantages, disadvantages. I think I felt your speech was a combination of informative plus persuasive. And one thing, your biggest strength, which you always, which I observed in all your speeches in the past, was your sincerity, your authenticity, and your credibility. This is shown in all your speeches, whichever I've last 15 or 20 odd years I've seen. Amazing. That's one thing is your biggest strength. Keep it up that. And where you could have probably experimented or changed the speech differently to take it to the next level was, though you are very comfortable with the natural gestures and all that, you are a bit not using the stage. You could have probably, I don't know how you could have done it for a speech like this, informative speech like this, but there is one suggestion I can give. Another is in your natural, that exuberance was rather missing. That's what your energy level was slightly less. Probably that is because you are missing from action for quite some time, I think. I think we should look at you more number of times behind the lectern, then it will definitely come back. But you ultimately, the way you ended the speech, I really liked it. You know, that was real. That's where I told it becomes a persuasive speech. Have your cup of cheer without fear. You know, because you told about the disadvantages of this beer and how it is actually not valid. It's actually, at least I found during break that you at least brought a moment of epiphany in Prashant. He said that I was worried about that coffee and all. He said, now you have convinced me that I can have my coffee without any guilt feeling. That you have achieved your purpose. That's one thing I found. So overall, a very informative and very nice, wonderful speech, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And as a director of Buyer Coffee, I think you don't need a marketing manager, I felt, after listening to you. So all the best, and please come behind the lectern more often. With that, back to you,
A coffee veteran with a coffee speech and an evaluation veteran with the evaluation speech. What a feast to the ears. A huge round of applause to the speaker and the evaluator. With that, we move on to the third speaker, which was Toastmaster Ajay, and he said, "Be like water." Can I please request his individual evaluator, TDM A.K. Prabhakara, to present his evaluation? With a round of applause, please.
Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmaster, and Ajay Chittaranjan, Toastmaster Ajay Chittaranjan in particular. This speech calls for basic application of opening body conclusion. It's a second speech in the project pathways, and it calls for that. How well he fulfilled, it's a basic structure that Toastmaster recommends day in and day out, and it is told only once, and that is in the icebreaker speech. More so in pathways, it is not repeated, so he has to follow. And what he did towards that is he just adapted it very natural. He didn't seem it very artificial that he did it. Basic idea behind the speech, in all the speech that was so well delivered, was that embrace the obstacle. Embrace the article as an obstacle. That was the idea behind the speech. So it is about water. He used water as a vehicle to drive that point to a teenager, French teenager traveling to Bangalore, maybe 52nd or 53rd country that he was traveling. And he also brought about that what the other Kung Fu dance fighter, Bruce Lee, had to say about it, that be like water. You will be occupying a small cup if you are poured into that, a teapot or a bottle. You have to adapt to that. So if you do that, you can go from where you are to place where you want to be. And that's the whole point. And he did it so well. In fact, one of the basic criteria in pathways in assessment is that clarity. Clarity was written all over the place in his speech from start to finish. And as a method, what he used was be like water. Time to time, in different ways, different contexts, within few sentences, he used to repeat that. And he drove home that point, nailed it repeatedly. And that ensured the idea is really sunk and go into our head and remain etched there. Perhaps that's the reason the speech has remained green, as fresh as it was 7 years ago. I have heard a number of times, it is still there. But what stands out in his speech is that clarity is one thing. Other one is that eye contact. Vocal variety, he adapted the characters, 2 characters. And the way he moved was not, it was something like artificial. It was not made up. It was natural. And the voice change and the movement all were synchronized. And it was never seen that he was acting out 2 characters. And he did that without really drawing our attention that he was doing that kind of a sort of a drama or a circus. He was not doing that. Vocal variety was in place because of that, and gestures was in place. Then most important is that did he address the required audience level? That's where the actual audience will be really kind of appreciating it. That's what he said, that we have 1 degree, we have 1 more backup degree. He brought the context to our situation, Indian situation. And he was very comfortable. The way he was comfortable, he said he was a little nervous. I was not seeing any nervousness. In fact, I was nervous trying to, whether I missed the point that I wanted to convey. So he was all at ease, and he brought about the interest in the audience because he was addressing a very young audience to hear, and there was a lot of interest generated, and the speech is evergreen that way because the audience, as I said, is majority of them are young people. Everything was in place, and I would say to myself and perhaps to you, be like water. Over to general evaluation.
After listening to these 2 things, if I had to say something, I would say, if you want to be a speaker, be like Ajay. If you want to be an evaluator, be like DTM A.K. Prabhakara. A good round of applause to the speaker and the evaluator. With that, we move on to the 4th speech. The first born, delivered by Toastmaster Balaji. Can I please request his individual evaluator, Toastmaster Sandeep, to present his evaluation?
Thank you, General Evaluator. Good evening all, especially Toastmaster Balaji. It is needless to say it was a fantastic speech. The humor was obvious. It connected with the audience. It created laughter. So very good job done for the speech. The manual says 3 areas for the speaker, the areas where he excelled at, the areas where he may work on, and the areas where he has to challenge himself. So the first part of the evaluation is the portion of the speech where he did an excellent job. The basics were in place. The basic of a speech is organization, the vocal variety, the body language, the eye contact. Those are the basics. He opened with one joke, rather a personal anecdote. So when you open with a personal anecdote, it doesn't have a risk of joke. I will come to the risk of joke. So it connects to the audience, and it has it doesn't go the reverse way when you are speaking from a personal anecdote. I think that worked in very much in favor of you. The stories were short. There was a lot of twists in his setups. When you can remember when he entered the room and her mother closed the door. So that was definitely a twist to the setup. What you may work on is like you had a very opportunity to give all the firstborns to become proud of what, I mean, yes, we are the first dosas of that pan. So you had that opportunity to make us feel proud for that conclusion. I felt you had kind of surrendered to the conclusion. And surrendered in the sense you had lacked the confidence to close that speech in emphatically. So that you can, I think, work on. To challenge, and this is the biggest the difference between joke and personal anecdote. Joke has got, joke is a third person thing. Personal anecdote is like your thing. So jokes can go wrong in many cases. It can either breeze the, it can create a breeze between you and the audience, or it can inadvertently distance your audience. So that is the thing of joke. So I have seen Balaji through and through most of the time speaking of his personal anecdotes. So you can work on jokes, which is third party, and you have to measure audience, you have to moderate the joke to the demographic what you are going to speak. So that is one area where you can challenge yourself. And this is from my evaluation. Very good job done. Please give him a big round of applause.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sandeep. I think from one very humorous speaker to a poker-faced humorous speaker as his evaluator, a job very well done. A huge round of applause to the speaker and the evaluator. With that, I'll give you a few seconds to go online and submit your votes for the best evaluator as well. Okay, now for the roll taker reports. We'll first have the timer behind the lectern. Toastmaster Shiva, can you please give out your report, please? A round of applause for the timer.
Thank you. General evaluator, the meeting, here's my timer's report. The meeting commenced at 6:29 p.m. The business session was allotted 3 minutes, finished well within 2 minutes. The welcome by Sergeant at Arms allotted again 3 minutes, finished in 1 minute and 45 seconds. The guest introduction went on for 1 minute 33 seconds. The presidential address is allotted 5 minutes, took 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Introduction of Toastmaster of the evening allotted 1 minute and done within 40 seconds. Report on previous meeting just in time, 1 minute 55 seconds. Coming to the Master of Ceremonies, the initial part was allotted 10 minutes. She finished it in 9 minutes and 40 seconds, and in total till now the Master of Ceremonies has taken 21 minutes. Coming to the prepared speech session, first speech by DTM Sushma was well within time, 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Her evaluator DTM Amitabha took 4 minutes and 10 seconds, so exceeding the time limit of 3 minutes. Second speaker DTM Nagaraj Rao was well within time, 6 minutes and 10 seconds. His evaluator DTM MU Bhatt just 3 minutes and 30 seconds, so exactly in the grace period. The third speaker Toastmaster Ajay took 6 minutes and 15 seconds. His evaluator DTM AK Prabhakara took 3 minutes and 50 seconds, so slightly exceeding the time there. Final speaker Toastmaster Balaji CS took 7 minutes and 40 seconds, slightly exceeding the time. And his evaluator Toastmaster Sandeep 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Coming to the table topic session, the individual speakers have been put up on the board, and other than Toastmaster Jayanti, Toastmaster Mamatta and Toastmaster Prashant, everyone was well within time. The allotted time is 20 minutes. The entire session took 16 minutes. Finally, the general evaluator till now has taken about 7 minutes. Over to you, general evaluator.
Next up, the R counter, Toastmaster Pavli, please. Can we have a round of applause for the roll taker?
A very happy evening to everyone. Sergeant at Arms Toastmaster Sanjana H.A. was flawless. Acting President Toastmaster Lalana repeated word and 2 times. Toastmaster of the day Toastmaster Ankita 1 time. Timer Shivaprasad 2 hours. Coming to the prepared speeches, DTM Sushma was flawless, DTM Amitabha 2 hours, DTM Nagaraja 1 hour, DTM MU Bhatt 1 hour and 1 Toastmaster Ajay was flawless, DTM AK Prabhakara 2 hours, Toastmaster Balaji CS was flawless, Toastmaster Sandeep 2 hours. Coming to the table topic speakers, the table topic master Toastmaster Sai Snehal was flawless, Toastmaster Lakshmi 1 hour 1 and repeated words 4 times, Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa 1 hour, Toastmaster Sushrut 2 hours, Toastmaster Sai Ganesh 2 hours and repeated 1 time, Toastmaster Vijay Upendra was flawless, Toastmaster Jayanti 1 hour, Toastmaster Monish 1 hour and so and you know repeated it few times, Toastmaster Jyoti 1 hour and 2 Toastmaster Suprit was flawless. Thank you and back to you, General.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Pavni. A small correction, I think you by mistake mentioned the acting president. She is the president. With that, we move on to the next role taker, the grammarian Toastmaster Sharanya, please.
Once again, good evening everyone. Toastmasters here did not fail to use good grammar, which made the whole session cognizant and sensible. So I'll start off with the good usages. Eureka moment, contemporary example, tessellation, epitome of transformation, plunge, relish the cup of cheer without fear, stealth mode, vicinity, repercussion, plethora, delegating. Another name for this meeting was just perfect. It was so flawless and I couldn't find any not so good usages. Coming to the word of the day was used by Toastmaster Lalana Murthy, Toastmaster Ankita, DTM Nagaraj Rao, Toastmaster Supreet, DTM MU Bhatt. Thank you and back to you.
With that, we move on to the final role taker of the day, the PP evaluator, Toastmaster Sanjana.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. So none of the speakers spoke about sex, religion or politics. Members only entered or exited the room during the applause. We did have a phone ring during one of the speeches which we can avoid. So I insist we all keep our phones on silent mode going forward. With that, thank you and over to you, gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Now we're getting a quick 10 seconds to finish the remaining ballots that you have for the best role taker, tab G and BC and rest. Alright. With that, we moved on to the next session, the table topic session by Sai Snehal. Think great topics, amazing responses, even more amazing, wittier counter responses to those topics. That was the highlight of the session for me. So very well planned. Sai Snehal, what I really loved about your session today was 2 things. One, the idea of pausing a little before announcing the speaker's name so that you give them an extra second or 2 for everyone to think about the topic. And second thing, keeping the topics apt to the speaker. So you had done some kind of research to understand who can speak on what, put them at a comfort zone by not putting them in the comfort zone, right? That's what you tried balancing, beautifully done. Something that I saw today was it was simple, yet it was extraordinary, right? So the epiphany for me from this whole session is simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. For the beautiful session that we enjoyed today, give a huge round of applause for this. With that, we will move on to the Master of Ceremonies for the evening. So when I saw her name as the MC on the agenda, I knew the evening journey was in safe hands, right? From the homework to the actual work, from your intros to your origamis, from your choice of words to the clarity of thoughts, I think it was spot on and it was a beautiful session. So from the moment you started saying, I was beyond thrilled to be a part of this, I was beyond excited to sit there and listen to your session. The only thing I missed was to carry a dictionary for the choice of words that she has. And from there, the journey only got better. The way you worked simple things to deliver great messages, like a Candy Crush booster to a table topic session, confidence. I think very beautifully, very seamlessly done is what I should say. The journey was really smooth, but a couple of minor bumps here and there. The first thing for me, the very important thing, was the title and speaker's name format, right? So we always try to introduce and say, give the speakers information, then the title of the speech, and then the name of the speaker, right? So the district champion, the 2015 district champion is here to speak with us with a speech titled, Be Like Water, please welcome on stage Toastmaster Ajay Chitranjan, and then it goes into an applause. That's the effect. But the moment you say speaker's name, we as Toastmasters are very enthusiastic to start applauding. And the title of the speech can go amiss here and there, right? So maybe something that I would be a little critical here and say, because you're an experienced Toastmaster and we expect some, you could have learned that from your first to second speaker. When it didn't work, you should have tried tweaking that through the meeting. So that is something you could have done. The second thing that I would really tell you is, maybe you were a little bit in a hurry to finish your sentences, and there were a couple of small errors that you kind of implicitly came into your actions. Like you said, Balaji works as Qualcomm. He works at Qualcomm, right? So the small things that came up there could have been avoided. But all in all, great sessions with multiple epiphanies that I am going to take forward from here. Beautifully done. So for making that evening the smooth, the seamless, and the exuberant one, can we have a thunderous round of applause for the MC? What a meeting. After quite some time, it's really nice to see such these names, these faces, listen to these speeches, go down the memory lane, and this meeting, I think, is going to go down as one of those high performance meetings in the history of Mekon Communication Club. And somewhere I'll take small credit for triggering this thought in the VPH's mind. Something that I really, that I've learned when we speak of epiphanies, something that recently happened in my personal experience. We had a huge celebration in my office today. We completed 20 years in India. We had a huge celebration, and it was a 2-day event. I got to host the first day completely, and the second day was hosted by Mandira Bedi. And after the Mandira Bedi experience, that night over dinner, people walked up to me and said, we really wish you had hosted the second day as well for us. And this coming from 50 to 100 people in a crowd setting like that, where people searched for me and told me this, it was overwhelming. But when I sat there and thought back, that was my moment of epiphany to say, those small decisions that we make, those small steps that we take. For me, I had delayed joining Mekon by 4 years, but when I did it, I am more than glad today when I look back at the decision that I made. So the things that I've learned here, the things that I have imbibed over here, standing behind this lectern, sitting over there, is humongous in my journey. So when people ask me out there, when I go to my corporate clubs and office and say, why don't you join this club? You are so good, why don't you join the club? Why don't you be a part of it? I say, I can join any other club at any point in time, but I'm going to remain a Mekonian forever. So I'm never going to join another club. There's not going to be a second club. So for me, once a Mekonian, forever a Mekonian. If you agree, please give me a round of applause for that.
That was indeed a very insightful session. You gave each one of the role takers something to take back home, something they could improve on, something they could get better at, and that's exactly what this place does. It tells you how you're good, it gives you that boost of energy to perform more, to come up here behind the lectern more, and when you come up here next, it also gives you a few things that you can work on from the previous session. Thank you all for taking up roles today and for making this meeting what a beautiful meeting it was. With that, I would like to hand back charge to the President, Toastmaster Lalana Murthy.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ankita, for that seamless session, and for that wonderful general evaluation session by Toastmaster Supreet, as always, very comprehensive, and like Toastmaster Ankita said, takeaways for each role takers. It was indeed a landmark meeting with all our past presidents as speakers and evaluators. Now we all know the kind of legacy we are continuing, and I'm really proud to belong to this illustrious club. Thanks to VP Education Toastmaster Gaurav for coordinating and putting this meeting together, and of course to Toastmaster Supreet for triggering this thought, as he said. I hope all of you have voted for the speakers and the respective role takers. How many?
27. Some of them left.
So coming to the results of today's meeting, I am sure it was hard for us to vote. Like each of them were equally good and we all had a tough time. The best TAPG role taker goes to Toastmaster Shiv Prasad. The best role taker MTG goes to Toastmaster Ankita. The best table topic speaker goes to two people, Toastmaster Sai Ganesh and Toastmaster Veerabhadrappa. The best evaluator is DTM AK Prabhakara. And now for the best speaker, Toastmaster Ajay.
Thank you.
With that, I close meeting number 1189.
One small announcement. Can I make a new meeting? I'll make one announcement. I think we need to recognize one president who has arrived late. And,
Oh, yeah.
USSI Mera Dost. Anusha, you can
Yes,
please
yes.
stand up and be recognized.
So Dr. Vijayashree has sent a message. She has just compiled a program where Nirmala Sitharaman was the chief guest and she has been felicitated by her. So she has sent a photo also. So I'll share it to
Dr. Vijayashree was our president and a very long time member. That's what he has.
Right.
She was there for a very, very long, only maybe 1 year now that she is not able to come and she has withdrawn from the membership. So two past presidents, I thought we should mention it at this point.
And
Both
she
are
is
not
also our
members.
first lady president, if I'm
Pardon?
Second.
Second, is it? Okay.
Who? Second.
Second.
First one is Sabita Prasad.
With that, I close meeting number 1189 and request everyone to raise the national anthem.